and we're going to go ahead and get started. So, thanks for everyone jumping on today. This is a our first of our training webinars we're doing here. All of these webinars will be sent out to all of our clients, but also will be added into our new training tab, which will be coming out here shortly. We are going to make it simpler and easier for you to find exactly what you need in one place. So, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started. Corey, is this coming across?
It is. Yep, we're
Okay.
good.
Perfect. So what we're talking about today is our documents section in Clean Claims. So our document section is a powerful tool to allow you to not only sign documents and whether it's work authorizations, certificate of completions, hazard forms, it allows you to sign forms, but also we're going to go into how you can use our document feature inside of a project for forms that maybe don't need to be signed, but you want them in your final report. So, first aspect of that is how do we get those documents into Clean Claims? What you can do is you go up here to the top. Now, this is something that will require admin access. So, if you do not have admin access, please talk to your admin in your Clean Claims account. But you will click admin and then project configurations. Once you come to project configurations, you'll see this documents tab right here at the top. You'll click on that, and then this is where you'll see your documents. So this is in a test account I have right here. We have one document. So I'll show you how to upload a document. And then if you ever need to make changes to an existing document, we'll walk through that as well. So to add a new document, the first thing you would do is come right up here to this blue tab where it says add a document. You'll see our slide out screen come up. And then this is where we'll just go through and fill out what we need. So the document type, we have a couple different ones in here. So if it's a contract, health survey, certificate of completion, any kind of correspondence, material sheets, or you can click other. This just helps kind of organize these in there. So we'll say this is a contract. We can name this contract. We can say this is a work off, CFC. You can use the shorthand here. And then in the description is where organization, you can get into more details. Now, one thing I will say is when you are naming these, if you only have one standard work auth for all loss types, great, call it a work auth. But if this is a work auth for, maybe Liberty Mutual, State Farm, Alacrity, Contractor Connection, a specific carrier, specific client, you can always put that in there to name it, or I can put this in here in the titles form to be able to say, Liberty Mutual. And I'll show you why that's important here in a minute because we do have a new feature I think you guys are going to like. So now that I've named this document, before I upload this PDF, a couple things you can do. If you want to just have a standard document in here, you can simply upload it and hit save. And this will allow you to have that document in your project. This button right here where it says require signature or other response, this is now timing saying, hey, this is a form that needs to be signed or filled out. So once you click that, you'll notice our timing comes up. This is something to where you can help automate these within Clean Claims. So if I have it selected here in the sales call, that's where you'll have a prompt to say, hey, we need to get this work auth signed before we start building rooms, which is great for if, you were sent out by a carrier, we're getting the work and we want to get this signed first, or if this is like a certificate of completion, or I want this done at the end of the project, you can put it on project completion. And then a lot of times, if it's a refusal to continue work, or if it's just a random document that maybe we don't know when it's going to be signed yet, you can always just put it right here at any time, and it'll allow you to sign it in the sales call at the end, anytime during the project. So from here, you'll hit this upload PDF button. You'll come in and actually find whichever document you want to upload. So we are going to go ahead and just upload a document, which I have one in here we will use, which of course the one I wanted disappeared on me. So we're going to go right here and go to, well, we're just going to go ahead and use this project. Oh, there it is. So this is a, we're just going to use a project report on this one. We'll make it easy. So from here, now you'll see this project has been uploaded. I'll hit save, and this will automatically pull you into the form fill portion. Now, the key to this is whatever work authorization you're putting in the system needs to be a blank document. So when you do add any of these documents in, now it can be any kind of PDF, you'll want it to be blank. So if you do have a document and it already has the client's address and stuff filled out, you cannot edit that PDF in CleanClaims. Now you can always come in and put where you want things signed. So it's just got to be a clean shell of what you needed. So now that we have this document, this is where we can come up at the top here. You'll see first party. If this is only one person signing this, so if this is just the homeowner signing it, you can leave this as one signer. You can always click this pencil icon and come in and say this is the customer to label who's going to be signing that. And then if I do need to add a second party, I can just simply hit second party. I can come in here, hit this pencil, put technician or kind of however you want to label it, company representative. And then now we have these two different fields to be signed in.
And Paul,
So,
I would always get in the habit of labeling those, right?
yes,
Because when you're in clean claims, it says customer. It makes it real easy for everybody inside the system to know what's happening. So I would get in the habit of doing that.
correct. And we'll show you in Clean Claims when you are signing it. So in the contacts page, if you do have, when you put your customer information in, this will allow when you say this is the customer, you're able to choose the customer from the contacts field. This will help with the auto population, autofill we have in here as well. And then if this is a technician, it will use their credentials within Clean Claims for the autofill as well. So for here, we'll say this is the customer. You'll notice we have a couple different boxes down here. Our text box just allows you to simply come in and say, I need to add text here. I can simply draw wherever on the document you would like. You'll notice this little box right here. This is a good way to say, okay, if I have a handful of things to sign, I can simply say, do I want the customer or the technician to sign here? And you can actually toggle between the two. And you'll notice once I put this in, you'll see right here the text field 1. Now, when signing this, you'll be able to see the document. I highly recommend if this is just the name, fill that out. So when they're filling it out, you will see that directly in there. Now, the other thing we can do as well is on this far right side, you'll see these autofills. Whichever person's signing is where it's going to pull these from. So if it's the technician, it will autofill the technician's name since this is the customer. And I want to say I want their full name. I just click this, it will copy it. I can either click here or I can click here, hit this bar. I will come in and just hit paste or control V. And you'll see the full name in brackets right there. This will pull this information that's already been filled out in the accounts tab or in the sales call directly into the document. So you won't have to keep refilling these. One other key thing you'll notice is down here on the far right, you'll see this little gear icon. This allows you to say, is this something that's required to be filled out? Which if this is something that is a optional field, I can just simply turn this off and will allow them to move past it. But if it's something I need required, this won't let them move past it until it's filled out. Now, there are a couple different things you can do as well. Let's say we want to have the first name on multiple places. I can always hit this draw new area, come down wherever in the documents I want. Let's say I want to have their name right here. Click this here. And now when this is filled out on the top, it'll automatically fill it out on the second page. We do also have the ability where you can put it on multiple pages as well. So if it's something maybe you only need it in two spots, that's a great task. There is a way you can automatically do it on every page as well. So from here, you'll notice this is our top one here. If I want to add another text box here where I want to have the client's address, I can come down to our little autofill, hit client address, copy client street address, simply come right here, hit paste. This will paste in the client street address. Again, if I want to make this required, I can simply turn that on or off, and this will autofill that info in. We also have the ability to where if you want to put initials, the date, I can put a date field right here as well. That will allow the date to go in. And what you're noticing is I would start from the top of the document and work your way down. As you see these being filled out, this is the order in which it'll be brought up. So if we have a signature down here on the final last page, so we're going to put the client signature right here. If this is up here at the top, this will be the first thing it has them sign. So just think this is a descending order of what's being signed. So you can drag and drop and move these wherever you want, just whatever's the easiest to go through the document for you. Now, a couple other features we have is we do have the ability of date, initial signatures. A big one is our check boxes in our radio. So the checkbox allows you to simply come in. You can put any kind of checkbox. So if this is a, do we have any health concerns? Yes or no. I can put a checkbox in there. Now, one thing I will say is the radio boxes versus the check boxes. The check boxes, you can use this one right here, which allows you to have one, and then I can always come in and put multiple where I can add in, this will be yes or no. I can click this drawing tool, come right here next to it. The multiple allows to where if a client wants to check multiple boxes, you can check multiple boxes. It will allow you. Versus our radio button allows me to give an option of 4 or 5 different options, but it only allows you to choose one. So radio think I want to have 5 different options and they need to pick from those 5 options versus a checkbox or multiple checkboxes. It allows them, they can check multiple in there. So that's kind of the big difference between those two. And I'll kind of show you real quick what that looks like. So let's say we put a radio button here. I'll simply draw this in. You'll notice it gives us options. So I can say, fire. Option 2 is water. Option 3 is mold. I can just simply come to this little area right here where I can simply draw in the different radio areas. And then I'll show you what that looks like when filling this out. It'll basically give all those options and they have to choose from one of them versus maybe multiple different check boxes.
And you can actually too, you can edit that radio group field as well and put like loss types or whatever you wanted to put. You can label that so that when a customer sees that in front of them, it's like loss type. What is it? Is it a fire? Is it a water or a mold? So you can label everything. And to Paul's point, label it. If you label everything you want them to see, just label it. And it makes it very easy for the customer to see.
And then also it gives you the ability to where, okay, maybe I need to come in and put another signature now down here at the bottom. So we have our final customer signature. Now I'm going to draw another signature here. You can either switch up here at the top between the customer and the tech, or in this little box right here, I can click this, hit tech. Now you notice this is blue. This is what the technician will be filling out. So you have options in here. If you want to have whoever your representative fill out most of the information for the client, they can. Or if you want to have the client fill it out on their own, you can as well. Completely up to you. I know in a lot of work authorizations, we'll have a text field where we'll kind of open this up. I can come in here and say scope of work. And then I can switch this over to a technician, which will allow them to come in, be able to put multiple different things in there. And a allow them to fill out what is being done in this report as well. So if you do have that blank section on your work off, leave it blank, and then you can actually put this text field in there to be able to fill that out. So it allows you to come in. I can switch between the customer and then the technician. The technician, you notice we have our signature field in the scope of work. Again, I can always switch these around. So if I want to have these in a different order, I can. And then once you have these fields in, it allows you to come in and say, if I do need to use either the contact's information, the client's address or information. We do also have the ability, if any of the insurance information is filled out in the sales call, that can auto-populate. And then we can also have our project number and clean claims auto-populate as well. So once you get this information in, it gives you the ability to come in, say, okay, this is now what we want it to be. I simply hit save, and then we can hit back to project documents. And now you can see our two documents we have directly within Clean Claims. Now, let's say we've added one in and we need to make a change to it. We can always come in at any point in time. If I hit these three dots and need to edit the document details of maybe when it's signed or maybe any descriptions, you can do that in here. Or if I hit edit template, this will actually pull up whatever PDF you have in here. And this is where I can modify any of the information in here if I want to add more to it. You do also have the ability to where if I need to just say we have a completely new document, I can always replace this document and it will actually keep whatever different areas you had filled. So if I want to come in here and actually replace this, it will replace the document and actually keep the different areas that you already had filled out. Now, you may need to come through and move and make sure this is exactly where you want it to be, but you won't have to redo any of these different areas that we've put into the document. Then from here, you just simply hit save, and then now this document is saved. So you can do any kind of document that you want to have filled out or signed directly in Clean Claims. This is something that's under the Admin tab. You go to Admin, Project Configurations, and then right here on the documents to be able to access these at any point in time. Now, one feature that we have recently added, we do know depending on specific carriers you work with, they may have, certain like the choice is yours form or certain work authorizations for certain carriers. Or even if it's, let's say it's a mold work authorization or a certain thing that only goes to certain loss types. Now, if you click into our settings, we can actually come in, say whether it's residential or commercial. I created a loss type in this demo account to show you. So I created a water, but I put a -LM for Liberty Mutual. If I click on that and hit save, you'll notice here, this is where we can set up our project setting, our room settings like you guys are used to in Clean Claims. Now over here, you'll notice a new tab for active documents. This is where I can actually come in and say, all right, on a Liberty Mutual water loss, I only want this Liberty Mutual one to be in there. You can now assign documents to specific loss types. So if it's a specific mold work authorization or a water or emergency work auth or a carrier specific, you can now tie those to those specific loss types so that that document will automatically pop up when you create that new loss. Now, you still have access to all of your other documents, and it will show you here in a minute how to get to that. But this will just make it even easier. So it's just set it, forget it. This is our loss type. Here's our process, and everything will flow directly in for you. So now that we have those documents set up, let's go ahead and we'll actually jump into a existing project here. And since this is an existing project, I'll kind of show you a couple different areas. So we'll go directly into the sales call. So in our legal review, this is where you'll see this tab down here that says Manage Documents. This is a great place, especially if your admin team is setting up this project before your technicians go out there. You can always come in, click Manage Documents, and this will show you a list of all of your active documents. So since we created that new document, and this is an existing project, I just simply hit click sync documents. Of course, we're pushing a revision out while we're doing this webinar, so it might throw a couple things up here. But I can hit manage documents, sync documents, and then it will pull in any new documents that have been created. So we do have this one right here. A key to our documents tab is if you see this active toggle green, that basically means this document will need to be signed on this project. So if I click inactive, it basically shuts off this document for this one project. So if you do have 5, 6, 7 documents, but I don't need them on every single job, again, you can assign them to the loss type so you don't have to go through and manually turn them off, or I can just simply turn these on at any point in time. Now, this allows you to manage which documents are on here in the sales call. But also, if I do need to change when it's being signed, I can also change that here. So if I wanted to turn this on to the sales call, you'll notice now it's got the document right here in the sales call to be signed. If I wanted to actually manage that and change that to maybe any time or at a different point in time, I can. So if I want to change this to any time, you'll notice it's still active, but it's not requiring it here in the sales call. And you can kind of set that automatic trigger up as well. Now, let's say we are in a project and we need to get a form signed, but maybe they want us to stop work or, hey, we need to just get this signed and get over with this job. You can always come to this menu button, which on the mobile, you'll see those 3 dots right here next to project and area. You can click on this and you'll see where it says manage documents. This is one thing I want to highlight. Manage document is like the master file folder in a job. Signing documents is where you physically sign, send, and get the signatures. So if I click manage documents, this is just like you saw in the sales call. I can choose which document I want, any of that kind of info in here. This is a key feature that a lot of people overlook. Our manage documents feature is great in the sense of this is where I can manage what I need to be signed, but also this is where I can upload any document that I need to that I want in our final report. So if you do sign a work off on a paper form, upload it into the document section. If we get a mold inspection report, an asbestos report, a change order, any kind of correspondence in a PDF, you can just simply come up here to the top, hit add document. You can find any kind of resource you would like in here. So for instance, I'll just take let's say it's we'll say it's a different report we want to add in here. You can basically upload that, choose what document type that is. So I can say, okay, this is a crew sheet. We'll say, Monday crew sheet, hit save. And then that will actually upload that document in. Again, apologize, we are doing a update as we're doing this webinar. But basically think if your team is filling out scope sheets, crew sheets, things of that nature, and you do want them in here, you don't have to attach them to the email. You can actually upload these directly into Clean Claims. So that's where you can come in, actually upload any of these. And then also within the Manage Document tab, this is where I can now come in and hit Sign Documents. So this is where you can actually create submissions. So I'm actually going to delete this one and start fresh. So this is our document we have here in any time. It allows me to simply come in. I can hit View Document if I want to see what this document looks like that we're signing, or hit Create Submission. So when I hit Create Submission, this is now, because we labeled this, you can see where it says Client and Technician. So I know, okay, this is going to be our client. I'm going to be our technician. Once I select those, it now creates the submission, which again, if I do have an email on file, I can actually send this to the homeowner for remote signature. But let's say I'm right here on site and I want to physically sign this. I simply hit Sign Now. It pulls this document up. You can see here where it already has my initials pre-populated. And since I labeled initials on there, you can see where it says that. I can hit complete. And that's all I need to physically sign on this form. You can now see it was signed on February 6th at this time and date. Or let's say I'm the homeowner. I'm going to hand them my phone, my tablet, and I want to physically sign this in place. This is where you can see it automatically auto-populated some information for them. This is where I can come in with my finger or wherever, can put my signature on here. I'll hit next. It moves me to that next one where it say I need my initials. It'll auto-populate those in so I can just verify, or if I want to change these, I can change these as well. Hit sign. For a date field, you can put the date in, or we do have this option right here where I can just set it for today and it sets today's date for you. Hit complete. And now this document has been signed. You'll see both areas showing signature in here. And then this is where we have some power to where if I want to download this on my device, I can download it. If I want to view the signed document, I can actually view this document as well. Or if I want to download the audit log to this as well, I can actually see when was it signed, who signed it, what information did they fill out to give some more tracking back behind it as well. So we do give you those options. And then now that this is completed, let's say we go through and want to run an actual report on this project. This is where you can actually set a template for this, or I can now click on this document section. It'll automatically pull any signed documents, but this gives me the ability to say, great, I want this in this report. I want this document. And this is where, as you add any of those documents in, you can choose what you want in there. So if it is your client scope sheet or, a change order or any kind of information, you can pick and choose whether you want that on that report. And then when I generate this report, you'll be able to see all of those different documents in that one final PDF. So it allows you to either download it, or I can view that PDF as well and be able to see down here in the project documents, I can actually see here's that signed document that also goes along with our room scan, with our readings. This way you can have everything in one final package. So some clients like to have the work off. They like to have it separate to attach. This gives you the ability of having all that in one form so that it's one thing you have to submit versus multiple. But it does give you that ability to upload whatever you need directly into this project. Um, this is definitely a powerful tool because, as we know, it's not just signing work authorizations. It's, hey, a choice is yours form, a mold and asbestos, a correspondence, a mold protocol. That document sections will allow you to put multiple things directly in here so that your team can have all the visibility. And when you're completing this file, you can have it all in one area. Perfect. So if you have any questions, feel free to jump into the chat here. I'm happy to go in, show you some more examples as well. But we definitely see this as a powerful tool to help get everything signed, but also get those documents into that final report. Corey, did I miss anything?
I think you did a great job. I think, Christine, before we started the webinar, brought up like, contracts get out of date, right? You have to upload new contracts, you have to do all of that. So, take advantage of this. You can upload new ones, you can delete old ones if they become, you know, if they're outdated or whatever. So just clean up your list and then just go through and attach them to the loss types that you need. But it can be a powerful tool just in that process enforcement. Like Clean Claims is all about that process enforcement. And we don't want to miss getting documents signed because that is an important part of that.
And just for context and just to show what this looks like, I'll actually go through and add another one in. This is one of our clients who gave me permission to share this. So I'll come in and say, okay, this is a certificate of completion. I can name it shorthand. Certificate of completion, which if you have one standard form, you're good to go. If you do have it broken down by your loss types, you can put those in. I'll come in, click I need this on project completion. I'll upload this PDF. Let's see here. There we go. Certificate of satisfaction. Hit save. And then now you'll see, okay, here's our certificate of satisfaction. We just have some different customer information, couple different things that need to be signed. So this is where I can come in and say, okay, this first party is going to be the client. The second party is going to be our tech. And then from here, this is where I can go in and say, okay, great. I'm going to take our project number, which I'll just copy this. I'll put a text box right here. I'll put the autofill for the project number. And then this isn't something I want a client to fill out. So I'm just going to have my tech put that in there. So you can switch between which view. The customer's name, I can simply put a text box right here, which is why having a blank shell of this document makes this very powerful. So I can simply come in, say first and last name or full name, paste this in. I want this required. I'm going to put a date field in here so I can draw that. You can get as creative as you want, as big as you want. It's completely up to you guys. So we'll put the date field, the address. I can simply draw this in here. I'll come to the client side. We'll say I want the client street address. Again, this is pulling from the contact that is in here in the setup in the sales call. So this will auto-populate here. And then for the city, I will just draw a simple box here. Client city. Paste this in. I'll put another text box here for the state. And then one more text box here for the zip code. I can just simply copy, paste this in, and this will autofill all this from what's been filled out in the project. Come down here to the bottom. I'm going to have a signature. So I'm going to click signature, draw this down right here, realize, ooh, this is for my technician. Just simply switch it to the technician. And then for instance, I'll put this text box right here. You'll notice it says print name and job title. Let's say I don't maybe have an autofill for that. I can just simply come directly right here and just put name and job title. Want them to show what is needed. And then from here, I can come in, say I want a signature for the client. And then I want the text for the client's name. Again, I can always come in and say I need the client's full name. Or if I wanted to, since I already have this field up here, I could make this to where it autofills in both. Completely up to you. And then this is a great example right here where we have our checkboxes. So customer or customer's agent. Since I want them to choose one or the other, I would use the radio field. I would come in, simply draw this in here. I can just say customer. Option 2 would be customer's agent. Actually, this one will put customer. So you can choose those. I'll hit this little draw icon right here and just simply draw this directly in. And now it will make them choose one or the other. So have them go on first name, date field. It's kind of walking them through all these different steps. It comes to the signature. And then here, once I'm happy with this, I just simply hit save. And then now this document is saved within Clean Claims. So it allowed them to walk through, fill out all those check marks. The good news is it's kind of a set it and forget it unless you have any updates. So once this is set once, you're able to use these different ones anywhere you are. Now, the way we have this set up is this CSC, let's say we use this on every project. This is now applied to every project. But if I did want to only use this one on a specific job type, this is where I can come in and say, okay, this is a residential fire. I can come into Active Docs and choose, I only want this to be on residential fires, and it will automatically turn this on for you. Or if it's just the same form used on all of these, you don't need to tag them, it will automatically be applied. This gives you the ability to choose which documents will be on those different loss types. So it just allows you to preset that. So it's once we create this project, everything we need is set. So your team has everything they need to get the right forms, the right readings, the right documentation, and follow the process within Clean Claims. And then at any point in time, you can always come back. If I need to make any changes, I can hit edit template. I can go in, modify these at any point in time and hit save. So you can modify as you go. Any questions? If feel free to jump into the chat if you want to send any questions over, anything like that. We're happy to answer any questions. We will be sending this recording out to everyone. Also, this will be in our training guides as well. I will share with you if you click on our training tab at the top of the app, it will launch into our help center. We do have a new version of this coming out shortly, so bear with us. But if I click into knowledge base, and then this Clean Claims version 3, this is our most updated guide. You'll notice down here at the bottom, you'll see project documents. These are all step-by-step guides that go into all the different things we just went through. So how to add a document, how to use the radio buttons versus checkboxes, validation fields, initials. All of these are step-by-step guides. So if you need to come in and say, okay, how do I actually fill this out in the sales call? These are all going to show you exactly where to click, how to add this information in, how to fill everything out. So you can find any of these guides, videos, resources, or you feel free to reach out to us by emailing support@cleanclaims.com or email Corey and myself, and we're happy to answer any questions for you. So we'll take a look in here. If anyone has any questions, feel free to reach us. If you need to, you can always go on and schedule a time with Corey and myself. We're happy to go through this for you as well. But really, we want to take one less thing off your team's shoulders and allow our documents tool to help get this info in there and make it simple and efficient to have everything you need.
That's perfect.
Perfect.
Thank you everyone for hopping on. We really appreciate it. And like Paul said, we'll get this sent out to you guys and let us know if you have any questions.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank
No
you very
problem. You
much.
guys have a great day.
You too.
All right.